Hey, what's going on? Episode number 95. We're doing it. Five away from the big hundo. What's going on? It's Brian from SeacoastBeverageLab.com, and this is the number one rated beer podcast by the four of us, the Seacoast Beverage Lab podcast for Wednesday, the 30th, 29th of October, 2014. We got a spooky, scary episode tonight. Everyone's wearing costumes, so I'm drinking a Maine beer because we never talk about Maine beer enough here on the show. So Funky Bow G-String Pale Ale coming in hot in the can. Where did we get this? Oh, Carl's Meat Market, Kittery.
Oh,
So picked up the 6, and yeah, it's pretty good. Let's go to one half of the Let's Talk Beer duo. Ben Watts joining in for Norm this week. What's happening?
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here. Excited. Got a new computer and can't figure out how to get my lower third on here. So right here would normally say @BMWatts. Follow me on Twitter. Just write that down. I'm sure you guys will probably just remember that and follow me later. I bet.
Sweet. What are you drinking?
I am drinking Smutty Nose Smuttinator.
Yes.
Fresh off the lines there.
Yes. For those that are part of the Big Beer Club, they put the Smutty Nose on the crown now. They're getting big time. It's nuts. Carla.
hey, so as you may notice, my surroundings are a little weird. I'm actually not at home. I'm still at work. Carla here, known as @BeerBabe, and I'm drinking chai. I have no beer here.
Order
So
from
I'm a little sad face, so don't make me too jealous with all your beer choices, okay?
Excellent. Subbing in for himself, the beer curmudgeon himself, Sean Jansen. What's happening?
How's it going? I'm Sean Jansen from TwoBeerGuys.com. I'm currently drinking a Ballast Point Sculpin from a can,
Now we're talking.
which I scored on a recent trip to Julio's.
Oh, big fan.
It's 6-pack cans. Perfect.
Sweet. So before we get into it, so today we're gonna kind of force this show to go around the top beers as rated by Beer Advocate. They just released the official lists. So I want to go through the top 20 on the site, and then we'll each go through our respective states. Sean talking about Mass, Carla and Ben talking about Maine, and I'll do some New Hampshire commentary. But before that, it's been a couple weeks. Let's start with Sean. Did you do anything in the past couple weeks?
Yeah, I have actually. What actually brought me to Julio's, I think I mentioned that I was going to do it before I went. We went to a private vertical tasting of North Coast Old Stock. It was a 2001, 2003, 2005, 2007, and then a 9, 10, and 14. I think were the years. And each beer was paired with a different type of cheese, and they kind of videoed in Mark Ruderick from one of the head brewer / owner of North Coast Brewing in California, and they had a team there kind of going through the same pairings and with cheese and beer at the same time. So it was pretty unique and interesting event. Pretty fun to do. The older it was, the more mellow, less carbonated, less hot, but still equally as delicious. I think a lot of people are saying that the 2001 was actually their favorite one, but not just to see the beers change over the years. It was also interesting to see how the package changed since 2001,
True.
where it's much more vibrant and colorful now than. Before it was like one or two colors, pretty basic logo.
That's
Awesome.
pretty cool. Do you have any pictures of that? That's kind of fun.
We do. I'll toss them to Brian so we can put them up on the wiki.
On the show notes. Anything
Yeah,
else
the show
you get
notes.
into? I saw you.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk this past weekend.
Yes, I believe we might have been at the same place, but
Where I touched you.
I went to the Red Hook Brewfest, the New Hampshire Brewfest at Red Hook that was put on by the Master Brewers Association. So it's basically a fundraiser for the New England chapter. I was working pouring a little Goose Island Bourbon County, which was pretty fun.
My quick notes about that fest is it seemed to have gotten not smaller in terms of brewers, but it gotten more claustrophobic.
Oh.
They pushed the tents together, or they didn't make them as big. and absolutely no water, which was so crazy. Like that's like even at the Chili Fest, there was no water. So I think New Hampshire's festivals has got to step it up and at least provide some sort of like rinsing or water drinking stations, because that's, you know, coming off of the ACBF and other festivals that I've been to in Mass, it's like there's always, you know, Gatorade coolers throughout the festival. Love it, but they don't seem to get that here in New Hampshire yet. Maybe next year.
Yeah, it did feel a little tight when you tried to move around. It would have been nice if some of the tents had a bigger space in between.
Yeah.
When you were underneath the tent, it wasn't too bad, but when you were outside of the tent trying to move from one place to the next, it was just a log jam.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, and I mean, it's not that people were in line. They could have just been standing in front of the booth having a drink, but you didn't know if they were in line or they were still, you know, finishing up what they were. It was, but I mean, other than that, the VIP beers were awesome. I mean, it's one of those. I mean, you were doing Bourbon County, where it's like you got to try it because it's Bourbon County, and it's like, but
People
you don't
loved
want to
it.
try it, you know, within the first hour of the festival. But it was awesome. Obviously,
We're actually pouring two stouts. We also had Muddy Imperial Stout. So as people were coming up like, I like the Imperial Stout. You're like, okay, you want barrel aged or?
yeah. Yeah,
It was pretty fun.
There's a couple good ones there. I mean, Stoneface brought a pilot of their porter, which was awesome. A couple people that weren't there. Tributary was on the list, but it was a no-show. I don't know if they decided they couldn't do that. Earth Eagle wasn't there because Earth Eagle was doing the festival down in Cambridge, at Cambridge Brewing Company, the Pumpkin Fest. It was pretty badass. Pretty badass for them to get an invite down to there. That's
That's an awesome
like
festival.
the pumpkin festival, you know.
Yeah.
But anything else, Shano?
No, that was pretty much it.
Sweet.
I think I mentioned I got to a beer dinner at Technique in Bedford.
When you said you were going there, and I laughed because that's a long drive. How was that?
It was awesome. Great food pairings.
What beer was it again?
603 Brewery.
Oh, nice.
Some of the special beers it had included toasted pumpkin, so they had some pumpkin rinds in one of the dishes, and they also used their granite stout in another one, which was delicious. I think there was like 6 different courses.
And I think 603 is coming out with a new can for Waterville Valley. Is that what it is?
That is. They've created a can specifically, in partnership with Waterville Valley Ski Resort.
Yeah.
That will be on in their local Waterville area, and you'll probably find the cans throughout the state. It is it's a wheat beer.
Awesome. For the skiers, I mean, a can, it's perfect. And a wheat, God bless. You know what I mean? Carla, obviously you're gonna have a lot more to say in the what's coming up next week. What'd you get up to the past week?
In the past week, I unfortunately, again, for the 3rd year in a row, missed Oxbow's Goods from the Woods, where they have a big party up at their brewery, but I was at my best friend's baby shower, so that's a good reason. However, that went over well. There's some really cool pictures online of people hanging out up at Oxbow over by the pond. It's a really fun event that everybody goes to every year, and I'm always out of town for some reason whenever that happens. What I did get to go to on Sunday, though, was Rising Tide's 4th anniversary party. So they had a ticketed, like, exclusive event over at the brewery. They released a beer called Corvus, which was a limited edition IPA that only made a couple kegs of. It was delicious. Really nice, juicy, hoppy brew. They also provided food, so they had roast quail. They had a pig roast, like they were literally just big hunks of pork, and they were just peeling it off and giving it to people. Fresh coleslaw, awesomeness. There was also pumpkin soup. They were all local businesses, local folks providing the food. And then they also had, which in hindsight I'm sure they're going to revise, a pickle competition. So they put it out there and they said, okay, whatever, if you want to enter pickles that you've made, we'll judge them, and the winner, gets a membership to their little their society. About how many people attended? It would be hard for me to tell, but it did sell out. So it was probably like, I want to say 80 people. It was big. I mean, for that brewery, they had a tent set up outside. There were people in and out the whole time.
Would you say there's more like 200?
I don't know. I'm not good at estimating crowd size, but it was busy and it was fun. And a lot of people that I knew in beer in Maine were there. It was big for them, especially for that space that they have. But they had a pickle judging competition, so they thought, okay, whatever, we'll have. Oh, it has to be more than. Okay, so anyway, they got. So they didn't in any way limit how many you could enter or how many people could enter. They just figured, oh, whatever, a handful of people will bring jar of pickles. There were 47 different pickles entered.
Wow.
So your judges had to try 47 different types of pickles and still like maintain their sanity, their palate, and whatever else. And so they are totally troopers, and I have to give them major props. And I hope somebody gave them like a lifetime supply of mints or something afterwards. But they ended up a couple different winners, which is really cool. And then everybody got to also taste the pickles if they wanted to. So the winner overall, if I'm not mistaken, was a pickled quail egg that tasted like they had put like lemongrass and all kinds of Asian spices in it, and it tasted like it was on top of a bowl of fabulous ramen from Hainan Miyake. So it was delicious.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I was like, wow, that is way above my pickle game right there. So that
Wait,
was
this is at the Rising Tide thing you were saying?
Yeah, it was part of the Rising Tide thing. So it was awesome, but even after trying like 2 or 3 pickles myself, I tried to drink the beer again, and I couldn't taste it. It wasn't that it got overwhelmed. It was literally like my palate was wiped out by the vinegar.
Vinegar gone. Well, didn't you also go to the IPA thing too? Was that last week?
The IPA.
The Infinity thing. Right?
Oh, yes. Oh, I forgot about that, because I haven't been on the show since I talked about that.
Because I thought that pickle thing was at the Infinity thing. That's why I made sure you said.
No, so the pickle thing was at the Rising Tide thing, but what you're talking about, the Hoptoberfest that was in Infinity.
Yes, okay, got it.
Was awesome, and it had, I think it was 12 different 12 or 14 brewers, all took the local hops that they had harvested and stuck them in a beer. What I really liked was that the beers were not all pale ales. They were not all IPAs. They were everything from an ESB to Brett fermented to the only thing it was missing is there were no like black IPAs or dark beer, but everything in there.
That was the one everyone used the same fresh hops, right?
Really good, as well as the ESB from. Oh, shoot, I'm blanking on it now, but I'll look it up in a minute. But a lot of those beers weren't available anywhere else, so it was just great to be able to try them. And it was fun. And while I was there, I got to go out back and try the beer the spirit they are brewing out of a particular brewery's beer.
What?
So basically taking the beer and distilling it and making it into a spirit. It's not going to be ready for another year, but I got to think of that, and it was really fun. I had no idea that you could do that, first of all. Second of all, that it would be so neat. So,
if I'm not mistaken, and I've only seen very few episodes of the Moonshine, whatever, fake shows on TV, but from what I recall, you could, like, they would use, even today, they would use, like, Bud Light or just, like, whatever alcohol beer, and they would just distill it, which is, like, weird part, but doing that's awesome that they're trying that out.
So it's another good collaboration between Infinity and another brewery, and it'll come out as a spirit later. But I don't want to say the name of it just because I'm not sure they want me to say. I don't know if it's public knowledge yet, but it was very cool. And it's just another example of how people are being really creative, even within the same industry, of how they can collaborate and do different stuff. So.
Man, all right, well. And then we'll get back to you in a second because we're talking about Maine, of course, but then next week's a huge week, and I feel like they just had this beer week. I have no idea, but
summer was this beer week for me.
Oh man, yeah, it's every week is beer week up in Maine. But Ben, what'd you get up to the past? I mean, geez, we haven't talked about what about last week, couple weeks? What have you been doing?
Oh boy, where I live in Maine, which is where there's no beer action. It's really just getting anywhere out of this town and anywhere where there's beer happening is kind of like a beer adventure for me, I suppose. Went up to Carlo's backyard last night.
Wow.
Up to Portland, had a great couple beers over at the Little Tap House.
Yep.
Over to LFK for a couple. That was a nice spot.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep, not good.
We were over at the State for a show last night. Saw all the Oxbow boys there last night.
Nice.
Everybody having a good time, yeah. Coming up, we have there's a great. I mean, I say that there's not a lot of beer stuff happening down in this area, but it's up and coming. We just got a brand new restaurant in town called Thistle Pig. One of the head executive chefs from When Pigs Fly went off on his own and started his own spot, which is 6 or 7 great taps on. They've got Tributary almost all the time. Always got some Maine Beer Co. And they're doing a dinner on Monday night with Rocky Coast. So kind of anxious to try that. I haven't been over there since they've put the brewery in, and I honestly was a little bit skeptical about it because of just experiences that I've had at the Post Road Tavern before that. But actually, they made a saison specifically for the Thistle Pig, and it was pretty good. And I know how great the food is at Thistle Pig, so I'm very excited for this beer dinner on Monday. And it's $35 per person, and it's like
That's not bad at all.
So pumped. So pumped.
courses, 5 beers. And if you've ever had this guy's food, you know that it's worth twice as much just to have the food. You know, forget about the beer. So definitely looking forward to that. And I think there's still maybe a few seats open if anybody's interested, but you can find that on the old Thistle Pig website there.
Nice.
Sweet.
Thistle Pig.
Yeah. So I guess I
And for our
talked about
listeners-
the beer fest at Red Hook. It's good as per usual. Ben and I did a couple hopping arounds. Went to Black Birch, first time in a while. It's cool to see the Rising Tide rare taps, the Tributary on tap there. Like the Black Birch and Kittery set their game up. I mean, their game's always been stepped up, but they always continue to impress. Up and comer new kid on the block, the York River House.
Landing,
yeah.
York River Landing, yeah, and the old Bosun's Landing on the York Kittery border, where
Awesome.
it was just kind of like a shitty frozen seafood tourist trap before. They ripped it down to studs and put it back up. This great food, and they had, I don't know, 25, 30 taps on.
Yep.
Mostly like local, mostly Maine crafts. They had 2 Bissell's, 3 Oxbows.
Nice.
Really highlighting some of the Maine.
And yeah, and like the true power behind the beer is run by a true beer geek, which I mean you can tell from the taps they're not just asking anybody, so it's just like guy knows what he's doing. And obviously they got a mug club there, which is he was telling us the deal, and it's just like next time, but it's for a mug club for all that they have there is awesome. And they had 3 tributaries on because they're literally a stone's throw, so you can go you can have a pint there, then take a drive down a Tributary, which is right there. And yeah, so it's pretty badass. I don't know what else. I was over. I went to a Pretty Things release 2 nights ago over at place called Parlor Sports, and it's probably like the #1 sports bar in Boston. It's as small as this room right here. It's super small, but they were releasing one of their beers, and it was pretty good. The whole crew was there from Pretty Things. We got to chat. I made my way over to Cambridge Brewing Company to try what was left over from the Pumpkin Fest, and it was just some awesome stuff. They had pumpkin saison, pumpkin Brett, pumpkin imperial stout, like anything that you could ever think. I had a pumpkin Scotch ale, which was out of this world, and it was made with Valley Malt. So big shout outs to my old stomping grounds. But yeah, that was that. Can't say anything bad about the beer scene in Boston. I was there the past couple nights, so it's pretty badass. But
You have to, pay to play?
pay to play, what's that?
Oh.
Oh, we did talk about that. Yeah, but we talked about that last week. So I mean, it was pretty much.
Just while you were in Boston, was it "mum's the word"? Or?
Yeah, no, it was that was actually pretty awesome. It was like, you did that. Oh, we were talking. Like, I don't really use Twitter, but
Speaking of the pumpkin beers, I thought it was funny last night on the tap list at the little tap house. They had a Jolly Pumpkin beer on, and they had like a little asterisk note on there, like, "This is not
a pumpkin beer."
yeah. Man, what's let's hop into this list, and then because we do have a lot of stuff going on in the next week that we got to get into for sure. But yeah, so we've talked about this is the review from Beer Advocate. We've talked about the ones from the Full Pint before. The Full Pint does an actual vote where you vote for your favorite beers. It's not based on review or anything like that, but the Beer Advocate rounds up their reviews and tweaks it with a little algorithm that Carla might be able to get into a little bit. And they release the top reviewed beers, in this case top 250, but then they also release the top 50 from each state. We'll just do a broad like top 10. We'll go down to the top 10. Then we'll do a couple, what we saw from our states. But you can find all these at beeradvocate.com/lists. And yeah, but we'll check it out. So there's a couple surprises in here, only because usually what we see here in the beer community is Heady Topper and Pliny taking the number 1 and 2 spots. Well, not this year. The number 1 is rated Heady Topper. Number 2 is Huanapu Imperial Stout, double barrel aged by Cigar City, badass beer. So no, what's the WR mean? World record?
Wide receiver.
What was it again?
Wide receiver?
Yeah, wide receiver.
Where are you seeing a WR?
It's like, it's the column title.
Something rating. So that's their average rating. So
okay.
Basically, so 4.72 for Heady Topper, and then 4.7, which is ridiculous because they're out of 5.
If you scroll to the bottom, it's weighted rating.
It says it way at the bottom. It's
weighted. Oh, okay.
Weighted rating.
V divided by V plus M times R plus. It's pretty crazy.
Wait, is that what it says at the bottom? It actually says how they. Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, scroll all the way down. How is this list calculated?
So it's 1 is Heady Topper, 2 is the Huanapu Imperial Stout, 3 is the Bourbon County Coffee Stout by Goose Island, which is I wish they showed what they were last year, kind of like a lot of the other countdowns do. It'd be cool to see. I bet they weren't there before. Dropping to number 4 of the countdown is Pliny the Elder is there.
Younger.
Because this must like aggregate. I don't know how often they refresh this. I was here on Sunday putting some stuff together for the show, and it was Pliny was number 2.
So we talked about this before we got on air, so I'm going to do a quick aside.
Quick aside.
On Sunday, I was downloading stuff. I was going to write an article about how awesome Maine's top beer list was, and I was like, yay! And then I logged in today to actually write the thing, and the list was totally different. And I was like, what the hell? Apparently, in the last couple of days, they actually changed the formula that they use to make these lists. And they actually adjusted the algorithm. There's a whole thread on it. But basically what they wanted to do, which is noble intention but had mixed results in my opinion, is that they didn't want things to make it onto these top lists if they only had a handful of reviews. So like if 5 everybody's went out and said, this is the best beer I've ever had in existence, it would put the rating way, way, way high. But it would be next to things that had 4,000 ratings, but might be just a little bit lower because of kind of the aggregate, the mean, this, remember stats class, it kind of. So what their fix for that was to then adjust the minimum number of reviews that a beer needed to get on that list based on the number of reviews for all of them. So it's a little bit complicated. It's very mathy. But what it ended up doing was, it corrected some of the ones that had very few reviews that were up really high that probably shouldn't be, which could take care of some of the super rare stuff. Like if there was only 1 keg of this thing and it was fantastic, yeah, but nobody can get it, so fine.
Like Pliny the Younger's.
My complaint, and we'll talk about this when we get to the local lists, my complaint is that I think that that's actually eliminated and pushed off a lot of deserving beers that are just from smaller breweries. Because even though they might have 100 reviews compared to one that has 10,000 reviews, they're never going to make it on that list. So it's not purely that. Again, it's weighted. It's this algorithm, and there are winners and losers here. But I had a back and forth with Beer Advocate on Twitter earlier today trying to figure this out. But they did change the algorithm, and there's a thread on it in Beer Advocate if you want more info. So that's why it's different, Ben, than when you were looking at it on Sunday. Now,
Or if you just scroll down to the bottom, it actually tells you about that how the algorithm is graded.
Yeah,
To
but
be
it
able to
doesn't tell you
calculate
what
those
it
numbers.
used to be graded as. They changed it. That's the that's the thing about the bottom, is that formula is new versus what the formula at the bottom used to be.
So we'll go quickly through the 10, and then we'll hop into New Hampshire just because we'll get that out of the way first.
Yeah.
Because Pliny the Younger, number 4, number 5, and again with the rare beers, I bet you this was like a one-shot release. Bourbon Barrel Aged Vanilla Bean Dark Lord by Three Floyds, and yes, I'm going next week, and I will be bringing back, hopefully if they have that, if not as much as my suitcase will fill. Humble brag. Number 6 from Perennial Artisan Ales is the Barrel Aged Abrajas, which sounds pretty badass. It's a American Double / Imperial Stout. So, yep. Double Sunshine from Lawson's up in Vermont is number 7.
Delicious.
Great. Yep. And then I haven't heard of this brewery before. Toppling Goliath Brewing Company, Morning Delight. It's an Imperial Stout. Anyone ever heard of Toppling Goliath?
No.
No, but they are out of Iowa.
Whoa! Did they win the JBF something?
I don't know, but the brewery has a beer advocate score of 100.
Okay. Hello,
They-
Iowa.
Wow, that's a pretty good score.
Wow.
To Bruvana, see what's going on there. Is it Bruvana? I forget the guy's name. But yeah, so then number 9 is Pliny the Elder, and wait, did I already say that? Yeah, I did say that. Sorry. No, number 9 is Pliny, and then again number 10, Toppling Goliath with Kentucky Brunch brand stout. So, and if you look again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of the 10 of the top 10 are all Imperial Stouts. So, big ups to the big beers.
See, I think they need to add to their algorithm to weight by ABV because the higher ABV ones get rated higher.
Yeah.
If they want to really adjust that algorithm, it would be really interesting to see what would happen if they took that into account. I mean, and we're not even talking 7. I mean, number 3 on this list has an ABV of 13.4. Number 5 has an ABV of 15%. That's insane.
Yeah. And I think what should
down a notch.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, and what everyone should take into account, it's like, this isn't Beer Advocate picking these. This is people that review on Beer Advocate. So if you don't review, it's kind of like if you don't vote, you can't complain about it, kind of thing. And it's not like they don't get an award. They're not going to have a plaque on their wall saying number 2 Beer Advocate rated, beer. Because there's a lot of beers, especially in even your own, wherever you're listening from, whatever state you're from. You're like, well, what about this beer? It's fantastic, or this brewery. Case in point for New Hampshire, and we'll switch over to the state ones, and they do it for each state. They also break it down by region, which is kind of just basically the number 1 through 3 of all the regions beers in the top 10 or top 50. But in the case of New Hampshire, a lot of the older breweries such as Smutty Nose and Portsmouth Brewery are very prevalent on this list because they've been around the longest. They have the most reviews. The beers are good in their own right, and they're rated as they are. But some of the beers from that definitely fall out of the equation. I bet any of the beers from Schilling, you don't see Henniker on here. The one good surprise that you do see at the top of the list for New Hampshire beer is Stoneface IPA because the hopheads are freaking out about that beer. But I don't know, Ben, you're quite privy to the scene too. I mean, I see Moat Mountain, I see Tuckerman. So these breweries that have been around since '94, '95 are all over this list, but we don't see any of the new guys. What do you take on that?
I wonder if it has a little something more to do with the uptick in people using apps like Untapped, who are jumping onto BA to start reviewing now. At the same time, where these new breweries are popping out, people are paying more attention to them now than they are like a Moat or something like that. So I think maybe they're getting the greater sum of the reviews just because people are excited to get out there and check into these new places because it's kind of the hot new whatever check into or beer to rate, where it's like not that it's my opinion, but maybe people think that something like Moat or like Tuckerman's is like passé because it's been around for so long.
Right.
That's it. That's really the only thing I can attribute it to, because it's incredible. And I'm not taking anything away from them, because I think that they have a fantastic product. Not that they shouldn't be rated number one, but it is really astonishing to see somebody so new get rise to the top right so quickly.
Yeah, and my only question was, this isn't just the ratings for the past year, right? This is just it'll keep adding on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one thing that I don't know if they want to do it every year. I know, like I said, Full Pint does it every year, but it could bring a different perspective to how the way beer's going.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I always want to see historical data. Whenever I see something like this, I want to see what the trends are. I want to know, like, are the top 3 sours or the top 3 IPAs? Like, that's the type of stuff that I like. Is comparing year to year what's changing. But it's interesting.
But yeah, I'll read off the top 5 real quick for New Hampshire, and pretty much we're gonna run into a train break. You hear that? There it is. Number 1, Stoneface IPA. Number 2, the Smutty Nose Baltic Porter. What a badass beer. The Royal Impey Stout from Portsmouth Brewery. Congratulations to Tyler Jones on his 2nd kid arrival. Just a quick shout out. Number 4, Smutty Nose Robust Porter, which is also my gamer tag on Xbox Live. Look it up. Number 5 is the Smutty Nose IPA, the finest kind. So Smutty Nose rocking. Basically, the Smutty Nose machine is real. 1 through 5 is right there, and then 6 and 7 is here. Now we can get to a different discussion if you guys want to hop into it though. 6 and 7 is Smutty Nose, 8 Stoneface, but the Gold Claw from Blue Lobster is number 9. Now where this could get kind of weird is the beer was rated. I don't know what the ratings were in the past couple years, but I know that was a very top rated beer when Dave Sikowski was brewer at Blue Lobster. So I don't know if the ratings, I don't know where they were. But
is the Hampton Weiss on your list anywhere? Because there are a couple of beers that would answer that. Is basically the ones that were only brewed during his tenure versus the ones that are continuously brewed, because it's going to get muddy.
So that's my point. And I haven't tried the Gold Claw since, but I bet the recipe's different just because of how things went down at that brewery. But it's kind of weird to see a beer that I bet shouldn't be up that high. That's super from the outside, opinion. But I just thought that was interesting, and it just that could happen, because you never know. For example, the Portsmouth Goza has been brewed by 3 different brewers over the course of 8 years, so it's not the same one. So I'm sure there's a couple, there's ebb and flow to all these reviews. Just doing a quick scroll through the list. Oh yeah, I don't know, 48, big fan. Throwback Fat Alberta. 49, Hop Slinger from Henniker did show up on the list. Good stuff. Quick scaled. Berliner Weiss made a huge comeback in the past couple of years, so it's now at 57. Let's see, Don Quixote's on there. Big shout out to Throwback again. So there you go. A lot of old guys: Woodstock, White Birch, Smutty Nose, Tuckerman, Moat. So maybe they'll rethink the algorithm just to kind of make sure everyone's in there. But to Carla's point,
apparently they're thrilled with the results, so I don't think they're going to be rethinking it anytime soon.
They're thrilled with themselves, is what's going on with that.
Said it.
Sean, what'd you say? No. But yeah, so Shano, do you want to talk about some of the Masses stuff?
Sure. Yeah.
Get in there.
Talking about the Massa top 5. Number 1, Julius from Treehouse Brewing. No surprise in there, but we all loved and greatly enjoyed that beer. Number 2, Sam Adams Utopia from Boston Beer Company.
Nice.
It's just fantastic. Number 3, 4 Point Pale Ale from Trillium.
Nice.
Number 4, also from Trillium, which is Congress Street IPA. And rounding out the top 5 would be Jack's Abbey Barrel Aged Framing Hammer.
Good list.
Coming in a close, 6. There's Wormtown Be Hoppy, which wouldn't be really too much of a surprise for anybody. And then Jack's Abbey takes 7, 8, 9. Treehouse takes number 10. So there's definitely a lot of Jack Savvy and Treehouse and Trillium in this top 20.
I just got to give it a shout out to my number 14 favorite, Everweiss. From Night Shift. Love it.
Good old Night Shift.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, there's you got Clown Cheese on the list. Larry IPA is a well-respected IPA from Wachusett. Even Spencer Trappist made that list too. Interesting. Yeah. So it's
Yeah. See. Okay. No offense to the monks. That is not a top 10 beer for me.
we can't talk. Hey, this is a beer
It's 52.
podcast. We can't badmouth
What
them.
is the number?
52.
52.
Oh, it's 52. Okay.
Yeah. I was scrolling down.
I thought it was up in the 20s or something. I'd be like, what?
No.
Okay. Just because
Uh,
we're enthralled that we have monks making beer in the U.S. now doesn't mean it's the best beer in the world. I'm sorry. I
Yep.
said it.
Oh God! Now we have to confess all of our sins at the end of this podcast. Is that how that works?
No. I refuse.
So
Nope.
Sean, what are your thoughts on the list from your home state? Just in general.
I think it's pretty good. It is very brewery centric. If you take the whole 100, there's maybe 20 breweries on the list.
All right, Carla. Next week on Full Report.
That was what I started to do with the old list, and then they changed it for me. I had graphs. I made graphs.
Damn it!
I think this list actually changes every day.
Yeah, it will. Which is
Slightly, but it's different than redoing the entire algorithm, which is what happened between the last time I saw it and now. So
I wish there was a way to get the data of a calendar year. Kind of like I'm sure Untappd could do that. Untappd could take their data from the past year, and that'd be pretty cool. Make their own little Untappd awards. I don't know.
They should. Anyway,
that idea is free. So Greg, if you're not listening, but if you get a hold of that info, but yeah. Massachusetts coming in hot. Treehouse will forever rule the world. Yeah, keep an eye out for. We're not even at the end of the year, but keep an eye out for High Horse coming out to the in bottle and can form in the coming year. Can't wait for that. They're gonna show up on this list, guaranteed.
cool.
Ben/Carla, but Carla, you ladies first. Let's get into this main list real quick because.
Main. Okay. This list defines to me what people are going to ask me about when I'm in other states and I tell them that I'm from Maine. This is what happens to me. So number 1, Maine Beer Company Dinner. Not surprised. That's their double IPA. They got released a couple times this year. It's awesome. Followed by Lunch. Lunch is the one that follows me wherever I go. Oh, can you give me some lunch? Okay. Here, but leave me alone.
That's what seems strange to me. I would think that lunch would be number 1 with the exclusivity of dinner.
Yeah.
And the widely available.
You've got the higher ABV and the limited availability, so more people rate it. The higher the ABV and the rarer it is, more people want to talk about it. The stuff they can get more often is not. You know what I mean? Like there's a psychological aspect to this too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at the number of ratings. It's 515 dinner ratings versus 3,000 lunch ratings.
Yeah. So, and what bothers me about that is that the rarer the top thing is, the more I get asked about it, the more I have to tell people, no, I cannot get that beer even myself, so I can't get it for you. As much as I love everybody. Stuff. It's like the people who ask me, "Oh, I'm in New England now. Where can I get Heavy Topper?" And I'm like, "Go to Vermont." Yeah. So number 1 and 2, very hoppy, obviously, very popular beers. 3 and 4 are both Allagash Cool Ship releases. Those are those open air fermented, and they're actually my favorite Cool Ships. So the number 3 is the Red, and then the number 4 is the Resurgam, and both fantastic beers if you're into funky or sour at all. They kind of do quiet releases of them at the brewery this past weekend. They did the Cool Ship, the one that's made pumpkins. I missed it completely, but I've had it before. It's very interesting. Weirdest, most interesting pumpkin beer you'll ever drink. So we had 3 and 4 were Red and Cool Ship Red and Cool Ship Resurgam. Number 5, another Maine Beer Company. That's Mo. That's my favorite Maine Beer Company beer. I really recommend that to people. If you're a fan of lunch, go try the Mo. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, try the Mo and calm down, people.
No, it's fabulous. I'll bring you Mo all day long. Number 6 is Allagash Curia, another one of my faves, so I'm happy to see that on the list. This is actually their 10-year anniversary, of brewing Curia. They're doing like a video contest. You make a video, you talk about Curia, and you can win a trip here to the brewery to actually participate in the barrel blending of the batches. So y'all should get out your video cameras and do that if you're listening to this, because that's pretty awesome. And if you're from outside of Portland, they basically fly you in and put you up in a hotel and all that stuff. So if you've been wanting to visit Portland, get out your video. Maine Beer Company, another American IPA, it's called Another One, is on number 7. Happy to see this still on the list after the algorithm change is The Substance from Bissell Brothers. They have been killing it since they've opened. I think their consistency is spot on now. For anybody who had it in the beginning, it was a little up and down, but they're getting used to stuff. I think they're doing really well with that. I want to get them on the podcast sometimes too, because they're cool guys.
You should probably just go there.
I probably could just go there. Number 9, Allagash Odyssey, which is one of the ones they release once a year in the big bottles. Belgian dark strong ale, strong dark ale. And then number 2, rounding out, is another Maine Beer Company, which is Zoe, which is an American amber. So there's a lot of hoppy on our list. We've got Dinner, Lunch, Mo, another one, and Zoe, in the top 10. And then the rest of it, there's some barrel-aged stuff and some spontaneously fermented thing. As a whole, this main list is very dominated by Allagash. Especially the Allagash weird one-offs. You know, they've got the other Ghoul ships make this list. They've got James Bean, the one that they
Love it.
Coffee and whiskey barrels. And, so there's a lot of cool stuff on here, but there's not stuff that this could not be a shopping list if you came up to Portland and said, I want to get all of these beers. You could probably get maybe a quarter of them, just because of all of the special stuff.
But surprisingly not too far out of the top 10. Allagash is White, their sort of flagship beer, and also the most reviewed beer on this entire list.
Yeah.
Popping in at number 13.
Yeah. And I think that has to do, too, with just its crazy geographic distribution. Allagash White is available all over the place in California. They eat it up.
And it's crazy.
Yep.
I was gonna say, sorry, it's crazy to see, because when people ask me about Heady Topper versus Pliny the Elder, I always toss in Cant Dog from Marshall Wharf, and it's so nuts to see that that's nowhere in the top 10. It's at number 30. So it's like, I don't know if it's because of lack of reviews, but there's no
People can't get there.
Such a
they started canning it now.
Yeah, you can get it anywhere. You can get it on tap anywhere.
You can't get it anywhere. But
it's hard to get to. It's hard to get to the brewery. It's like a
yeah.
little bit off the beaten path.
Well, you can buy it at Kansas stores, is what I'm saying.
Now,
but it's not like you have to travel somewhere.
I'm happy that Calcutta Cutter from Rising Tide stayed on this list. That, especially this year's release, was fantastic. And they're doing that in 4-packs now instead of just the big bottles. So I think that's helped more people pick it up as well.
A lot of these beers
it's weird, though. There's a lot of stuff down in the 70s and 80s that I don't think I would not put in my top 100. And it's no offense to those beers. It's just there's a lot of other stuff out there other than these.
Yeah, and it's also surprising, too. I mean, this makes the Maine beer scene look like
weird.
There's only 3, 4 or 5.
Breweries, right? It's Allagash and the Maine Beer Company show, and then the bottom of the list is the Shipyard Gritty's Geary's show.
Yeah,
it's very strange, just in the way that played out, like the way that it's odd. If this
I think we'll see sooner or later. We'll see the the foundations rising up here. The Austin streets will be
Yep.
In a year from now, I bet we'll see.
And
more diversity in here.
And on the old, and I say old as if it was old, it was only a day or so ago, a couple days ago, the previous list, before they updated this, just sorting by, before they updated this list with the new algorithm, they had Oxbow Farmhouse Pale Ale was up higher. But they also had an Austin Street on there. They had a Tributary on there. They had Marshall Wharf Sexy Chaos was on there. I don't think it's on there now. And then Ebenezer's Brew Pub was on there. There was a lot more diversity in it, and that's why I downloaded the list, because I thought it was a really nice representation versus now, which is kind of like, so.
I mean, and we'll be back. I mean, we should probably, that'd be cool to do our own little list of our own favorites towards the end of the year. I don't know if we do a year in review, or have we done one where we talk about our own favorites, but maybe we can pull that together.
Yeah.
Or even do a poll on the website. What do you guys like? So it's kind of like, here are the beers that you have now. Like, what's available now or this past year that you like, and I'm sure we could have a better algorithm than.
Well, doesn't Norm always do his list of best new beers of the year?
Yeah, but here he drinks all the beers.
Well, I'd like to go down this and just circle what you can get regularly, because it would be nice to just eliminate the stuff that's only released once a year.
Yep.
Like, it would be nice to just or only release once ever. It would be nice to just be like, okay, if you really want a taste of X state, go pick up. They're all on the list. They're just the most common, readily available ones. I don't know.
Yep. Well, we can put that to bed for now, but who knows? I mean, if something happens in the next week between now and the next show, we'll tell you. But Sean brought up a name that I want to segue to our coming attractions this weekend. Saturday, and because Norm's not here, I feel like we should make fun of him, or no, but he has his own event coming up on the 1st. He was talking about it last week, or the last show, Saturday the 1st at 10 a.m. at Peppercorns Grill and Tavern, in Worcester, Mass. Is the Norm release party and brunch. And it goes a little something like this. It says, join Wormtown Brewery for a unique release for Norm, a coconut chocolate stout. We will be selling it exclusively at the brewery for 2 hours and then release what, if any, is left over to our distributors. Arrive early and enjoy a coconut-themed a la carte brunch. So that sounds pretty badass. So the bottle sales start at 9 a.m., but the brunch itself, so you can buy the beers outside the brewery at 10 or at 9, and then the brunch starts at 10, and they'll have draft as well. And Norm will be there, so Norm will sign whatever you want.
Anything.
Anything. So yeah, and I'm not a huge. So what the weird thing is, I don't like coconut. It's one of my many not a fan ofs. But that beer is so damn good. It's so smooth. It's like an Almond Joy, which I'm okay with. But what are you guys' thoughts? Have you guys had Norm? I brought you all bottles last year, right?
Yes, I did get some, and it was delicious, and I highly recommend it. Like you said, even if you're not like the biggest coconut fan in the world, it's just a really well done beer.
That's crazy coconut.
Get it? It's really good.
Yeah, so I'm hoping. I think I'm gonna get down there. Maybe meet up with Rick Brews or something.
If you're allergic to coconut, don't try it.
No, don't get any. Yeah, you're allergic to Norm in that case.
Yeah, no good.
Yeah, check it out.
You wouldn't be alone.
Oh boy, it's on Beer Advocate, but it's also the Peppercorns website is epeppercorns.com. So I guess peppercorns.com was taken by something else. Yeah, so that's that. What else is going on this weekend? We'll get to Carla last because she'll end it with the main minute. Ben and I have finished our third show, and we will be premiering it live Thursday, the 6th of November, which if we have a show next week, we'll be talking about it again. Let's Talk Beer Show live, 11, Somersworth, New Hampshire, live episode number 3. Ben, thoughts? What should people know about this? You're representing the show now.
Oh man, we got jokes up the butt.
And I mean that'll make you laugh.
So much beer trivia, games, live, minute to win it style stuff. We've got this is the first round of our exclusive prize with the Let's Talk Beer branded pint glass that you can win if you come out. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great.
Yeah, check it out, and we did. You can check it out at letstalk.beer. So you get the .beer name. Don't kid yourself. And yeah, it's It's not necessarily self-explanatory. It's just basically a game show that was revolved around beer, and we do so much fun stuff, and it's fun. And the guys at Levin are awesome, and the tap list to boot was great. Last month we had Stoneface as guests, and we play, and I was as Sean freaking one up me with the Stone Cold Steve Austin. But yeah, we have good times. So check it out. It's next week. And look for it on Facebook. You can give it a like. Just search "Let's Talk Beer." It's the name of the show. I'm gonna be heading up to Maine probably on Sunday for freshman brewers tasting, I think. But yeah, big shout out to before that is Halloween parade. It's always a good time in Portsmouth. Be safe. Don't drink pumpkin beer unless it's like made with real pumpkins. And yeah, that's it. Ben, do you have anything else between now and the show?
Oh, no. Yeah. Nope.
Sweet. I mean, look at the New Hampshire pride behind him, though, right now. Frank Jones poster right behind him. Fantastic move. Let's see. Sean, what's up this weekend for you?
It's pretty light. I think I'm taking it pretty low key, but for anyone that will be in the North Conway. What?
Do you have 7 Beer Fest to go to?
No, finally. 1 weekend off, and then there's 2 more for the rest of the year, I think.
Yeah. Awesome.
But there is a big event if you're up north of New Hampshire this weekend. I believe they'll be releasing a beer from Tuckerman's that was brewed with Bodie Miller. The
Whoa.
U.S.
What?
Yep.
Where?
At Tuckerman's at the brewery.
Has like 7 pairs of skis in it.
Yeah. They actually use the ski as a stirring paddle.
Master. Get it in there. Master of Puppets, new beer name. All right. Anything else? That's it?
That's it.
Sweet. And Carla, what's the good word? So big week coming up next week.
Okay, so I am starting on November 1st through November 7th is Portland Beer Week version 3. Basically, this is our 3rd year of doing it. It's insane. PortlandBeerWeek.org is the official site. We also have a lot going on Facebook as well. So here's what we've got going on. Just some really quick things I want to talk about, just to give you a preview, but you're going to have to check out all the events on your own because there's no way I'm going through all of them. So this Saturday, the big thing is the Portland Beer Fest, the one they have at the Expo. Not my favorite fest, to be honest. So there's a bunch of, it's big, but it's a fest. If you're into fest, that's cool. But there's also events going on at Nosh. They're doing a West Coast Thanksgiving at the Thirsty Pig, so they're taking some West Coast breweries and pairing them with a pseudo Thanksgiving menu, so that's going to be fun. I think the one that a lot of active people are going to be on Saturday is the Beer Week Scavenger Hunt, put on by Port City Running Tour.
Oh, yeah.
And that is going to be people running around Portland trying to find things, basically literally running around, but it's all beer-related and Beer Week-related, so that is pretty cool.
Sweet.
On Sunday, though, are the 2 events that I'm looking forward to the most. The Maine Brewers Guild is putting on something that's called Yep, and I know the site's under maintenance at this very second, so I'm inside of it. So by the time you all see this, it'll be better. It was working a couple minutes ago. But the Maine Brewers Guild is doing an event called Freshman Orientation, Class of 2014. So what that is, they're going to take all of the new breweries that came out in the last year. There are 12 of them. Austin Street, Bandit Corn, Barreled Souls, Bigelow, Bissell Brothers Foundation, Nice, Hidden Cove, Lively, Tributary, and Tumbledown. And they will be all in this kind of speed dating format. So basically you go in as a class. You go to your first brewery, you have a sample of their beer, the bell rings, you go to the next and get a thing. So
that's cool.
To be honest, if you guys have not been keeping up with the new breweries and just want to really get a nice taste of what's going on, that's the way to do it.
So is that so? It's just one sample of the beer. It's not. You don't get the chance. I mean, I'm sure it's a new event, so I don't know if you know anything more about it. But can you taste more of it after the event's done?
I don't know the answer to that. I can find out, but I do know that the brewery reps are going to be talking to you too. So it's not like you just go there and it's not sold out. There are still selling tickets. It's on brownpapertickets.com and also linked to from the site. There's it's just a really cool event for them to all be in one place. I also don't know the sample size, but it does include some food and snacks as well.
Sweet.
Price. So I'm really excited about that one. There's also that afternoon going to be a beer and cheese pairing at the King's Head with Foundation Brewing Company. And that's going to take place at that new King's Head bar, which also, if you haven't been there, it's really cool. So I've got cheese and I've got new breweries, and my son's pretty much made. But there's got to be at least 10 or 11 events going on every day. So these are just my little cute little highlights for y'all. At almost every night, there's something going on at Navarre. There's something going on with the Thirsty Pig. If you're not able to find something to do in the next in this 7-day period, you have problems.
Yep.
They're also going to do a Oxbow private tasting at Navarre Res that you can go to. But on Monday, the event that I'm probably going to show up to is Night Shift is coming up for an event at the Thirsty Pig with Bissell. Yes. So they're bringing a whole bunch of both of their beers, including one that they made together. So that is going to be fantastic because we do not get access to Night Shift up here at all.
So awesome.
It's called We Own the Night. That's happening on Monday night at the Thirsty Pig. So
cool. As you're doing that, Ben and I will be tasting some Maine beer Monday night. That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Maine beer for everybody.
Yeah, that's going to be wicked cool. Quickly, the one I'm excited for on Tuesday, which is also Election Day, is the blind IPA tasting happening at the Thirsty Pig. They did this last year too. They have 10 different IPAs. You have to guess what they are, and if you correctly identify all of them, you get a cash prize. Nobody did it last year, and nobody was able to do it all correctly last year.
So cool. That's awesome.
So that one's a cool one, and especially if you know Maine beer at all, those IPAs, in my opinion, should be able to be told apart pretty easily, but you never know. On that same day, on Tuesday, they are also having a Pro-Am competition, and Pro-Am meaning that a home brewer got together with a brewer and brewed a small batch of something, and they're competing there at what do you call it? At Salvage Barbecue. So they're going to be pouring beer that they made together, and they're going to be judging that. So that's if you're into the rare beers that no one ever is going to see again, those are cool ones to check out.
I gotta get the Salvage Barbecue. I keep hearing good things about that place.
Yeah, good food and a great beer list, and it's just a real laid-back atmosphere. It's not like it's not like some of the other bars in town. They're a little bit more, uptight or middle class. This is very much like you go there, you order your food, you take your food from the counter to the thing, you just sit and eat and talk. It's a great place to socialize. It's a very
sweet. Cool. Well, geez, what's the website again?
It's PortlandBeerWeek.org.
PortlandBeerWeek.org. So check out the list of all the events, and you're going to see Carla out every night. Follow her at BeerBabe. I mean, you know the drill to follow Carla, because if you're not, you're crazy. And my weekly check, how is the radio show thing going?
Oh, it's going well. I've been, so for those who don't know, I'm on WCYY in the morning as a guest on Thursday mornings for just a couple minutes, just talking Maine beer stuff. It's been really fun. I'm on the show with Mark Curto, so it's been fun. Last week, I actually brought Kai from Sebago with me, and he talked a little bit about the release of their Slick Nick, which just came out, which is really cool. And, so we're going to... he is scheduled to be with us in mid-November, so that'll be cool. Wow. I think twisted his arm hard enough that he committed to it.
Yeah, he's like the first guest that wanted to come on but never came yet. So
hopefully we will have him on for that too, because that little short thing in the morning, being on the radio is not getting the full effect of Kai. So you want the full effect there, but
sweet. I think we'll call it there. PortlandBeerWeek.org, and again, watch all the craziness in the past week, and we'll be back next week. Any last words from anybody? Sean, Carla, Ben, thanks for coming in.
If anybody's out in Portland for Portland Beer Week, tweet me and let me know where you are, and I will say hi and have a beer with you. So just don't be shy if you're coming up just for Portland Beer Week event. I'll be around.
Sweet. And with Ben, anything?
What? Follow me on Twitter at BMWatts. Follow the show on Twitter at Let's_Talk_Beer.
Yeah.
Come see us live, 11, first Thursdays, New Hampshire.
Done. And with the incoming train break, round 2, I'm going to say that's going to close it for episode number 95 of the Seago's Beverage Lab podcast. We're getting there. 100 will be done by Christmas. That's for sure. Maybe it'll be the Christmas episode where Norm's tree falls over again. We'll never know. And that's the bell, folks. So we're going to toss it to you. Cheers, and we'll see you next week on the podcast.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Have a great time.